Hello, everyone, and welcome to this informational webinar about the Health and Wellness Coaching Certificate Program at San Diego Mesa College. My name is Kelsey Brown, and I'm the Program Director of the Certificate Program at Mesa College, and I'm here to tell you a little bit about our program. So, a bit about where our program began and where we are today. We began developing our health and wellness coaching program in 2018. We already had a thriving personal training program, and we could see that health coaching was becoming even more important in the fields of health and wellness. And so we decided to develop a curriculum to upskill our fitness and wellness professionals with coaching skills. At the same time, I went to a fitness convention where they discussed the National Board for Health and Wellness Coaching and how it was developed and had created the gold standard certification in health and wellness coaching. As such, we decided to write our program to mirror the NBHWC's exam content outline and ultimately apply for NBHWC approved training program status. We achieved our training program status and launched our program in 2022 after the tumultuous time of COVID-19, which waylaid our program plans a little bit. We launched in 2022 and we've been rolling along ever since, developing health coaches and equipping other health and wellness and fitness professionals with health coaching skills. A couple notable things about us. We were the first NBHWC approved community college health coach training program in California. And as of my knowledge, we are currently the only one. This is being filmed in 2025. So who knows if and when that'll change. And we have continued to evolve, adjust, and advance our training program and curriculum based on things like student feedback, NBHWC program and content outline updates, and industry needs. So I'm going to explain a little bit more about those aspects of the program to you in this video. Our program has two program pathways. When we originally launched in 2022, we only had the Certificate of Achievement, which you can see here on the right. This is our larger, more robust certificate pathway. And instantly, we realized there was a need for a shorter, more direct, and focused certificate, which is our Certificate of Performance. Now, I'm going to walk you through the differences in these two certificate pathways and the similarities. The first similarity that I want you to know is that both of these program pathways include our core coaching content. That means our core coaching and lifestyle medicine classes are the exact same and included in both program pathways. Additionally, students who sit for either program pathway are eligible to sit for the NBHWC exam as long as they meet their other exam requirement criteria. So you do not have to complete the larger unit certification pathway in order to sit for the NBHWC exam. You may complete either one. Now, let me tell you about the Certificate of Achievement first. This certificate includes 18 to 19 units, depending on the classes you select, or a total of 7 classes. So there are 3 core coaching and lifestyle medicine classes in both pathways. And then this one includes 4 additional elective requirements. Now, those elective requirements are in the areas of business and marketing, nutrition, psychology, communication skills, and public health. You get to select from a variety of classes in each of those areas. Now, the couple of things that make this certificate special relate more to the institution and the outcomes related to that. So, a couple of things. The Certificate of Achievement is eligible for financial aid. So that includes needs-based financial aid after applying for things like FAFSA. It also includes things like the GI Bill and EDD benefits. Another important distinction is that students who earn their Certificate of Achievement are eligible to walk in Mesa's annual graduation ceremony if they would like to, if they're local or can get to San Diego, and if they choose to. Now, those are the two major differences between the Certificate of Achievement and the Certificate of Performance. The Certificate of Performance has the same core coaching content. Instead of requiring 4 additional electives, it only requires 1 additional elective for a total of 9 to 10 units or 4 total classes. So far fewer classes, and the fewer classes with a lighter course load is reflected by the reduced elective requirement. Now, this is great for those who already have some health and wellness education or experience or something already in the field. And again, the main difference here is that this pathway is not eligible for financial aid and it does not make students eligible to walk in our commencement ceremony. You do, however, still get a certificate at the end, and the courses do show up on our transcript. And of course, as I mentioned, you are eligible to sit for the NBHWC exam. So, why might a student choose one or the other? The certificate of performance, as I mentioned, is lower unit load and more streamlined. So, if you're really only looking for that core coaching curriculum, especially if you already have some educational background or experience that covers things like business, marketing, communications, public health, etc., you can move through with just these 4 classes. It tends to fit better for a working schedule or for someone who may be taking other coursework. Now, if you're someone who maybe is brand new to school, you haven't done any formal schooling before, you have potential benefits, financial aid benefits that you'd like to use, and it might be wonderful for you or your family to be able to participate in a graduation ceremony, then the certificate of achievement might be right for you. And if you're looking at both of these and you're like, you know what, I'm just not sure which one makes the most sense for me, you are absolutely more than welcome to connect with me to discuss. Let's look a little bit at the program structure and timeline, regardless of the path that you choose. Students often say, well, how long does the program take? What does this look like? When can I join, etc. So again, I mentioned that core coaching curriculum. These are the classes that are written to cover all of the material in the NBHWC exam content outline to prepare our students for entry level work as health and wellness coaching professionals and to sit for and pass the NBHWC board exam. So the 3 courses are Exercise Science 294, which is health and wellness coaching. Now, this class is the bread and butter of coaching. This covers coaching models and structures. This covers behavior change theories. This covers the process and structure of coaching. This covers motivational interviewing tools, etc. Now, this is a live online class. This class is conducted online live once per week for the entirety of a 16-week semester. Our courses are follow semester structures, and our semesters are 16 weeks long. So this class would meet once a week in the evenings for a full semester. Typically, these classes are for 3 hours once a week on Wednesdays around 5 to 8 p.m. The time may change a bit, but they're typically evening classes again once a week. Exercise Science 298, Applications of Health and Wellness Coaching, is another live online class. And this one does cover some content. It does look at the ethical and legal considerations of health and wellness coaching, but it largely dives into the actual practical application of health and wellness coaching, meaning that most of this class time is considered a lab class where students are actually engaging in one-on-one partner coaching with other classmates. Within this class, you'll actually have a total of 9 coaching sessions, all of which we recommend you record, 3 of which you are required to record and submit to your instructor. Give yourself individual self feedback and then get individualized feedback from your instructor and have individualized feedback meetings. All of this falls within the class time. So while this is a 1-unit class, it's a lab class. So it still takes up the same hours requirements as a 3-unit lecture class. A couple notes on these. Exercise Science 294 must be completed before Exercise Science 298. So you have the health coaching knowledge, skills, behaviors, etc., before you apply them and are graded on them in 298. Another note is that you do complete partner coaching in Exercise Science 294 as well. It's just a little bit less formal and kind of in a full class setting where you can get feedback immediately and discuss. Now, Health 107 is our lifestyle medicine for health and wellness course. This covers things like lifestyle behaviors, physical activity, healthy eating, sleep, stress management, tobacco cessation and substance use, mental health within the realm of health and wellness coaching. It also covers conditions like diabetes, obesity, cardiovascular disease, dementia, and Alzheimer's, etc. Again, within the context of health and wellness coaching. So this class is dense with content. There are lots of great assignments for you to explore and get your hands on the material. And this class is asynchronous, meaning there are no live meetings. Rather, the material is delivered to you via recordings, and then there are assignments for you to complete each week. So basically, there are going to be 3 hours of live class requirement each semester in your first semester and your second semester through Exercise Science 294 and 298. All of the course lectures and the coaching time is done within that 3 hour class time. And then you'll have your additional asynchronous coursework outside of that. So, to distill that, there are 3 hours of required class time each week for 2 semesters at baseline. 294 in your first semester and 298 in your second semester, which also meets for 3 hours once a week in the evenings on either a Tuesday or Thursday. Everything else in the program can be done online asynchronously, meaning there is only that 3 hour once a week live requirement for the program, and the rest of the work can be done at your own time. A little bit more about the program structure. The program is designed to be 2 semesters, whether you're completing the Certificate of Performance or the Certificate of Achievement. However, you may take longer to complete it if that works best for your schedule. But let's consider a 2 semester model first. Assume you're doing the Certificate of Performance, that's the 9 to 10 unit pathway. You would then take 2 classes in your first semester and 2 classes in your second semester to finish up the program. That means you'd have 294 and maybe Health 107 in your first semester, and 298 and an elective in your second semester. Now, let's assume you're doing the Certificate of Achievement, the 18 to 19 unit program in that same time period. That means you would take 3 or 4 classes per semester. So it is a heftier class load. So you might take 294, Health 107, and 1 elective in your first semester, and then 298 and 3 electives in your second semester. Now, that being said, that's the quickest you can complete the program. Let's say you only want to take 1 class per semester. No problem. No issue for us. You are totally welcome to do that. You can take 294 your first semester, 298 your second semester, Health 107 your third semester, and then electives, so on and so forth, continuing forward. So to summarize, the fastest you can complete either pathway is within 2 semesters. However, you may take as long as you need to get those classes done, and you can even pause and restart in the future as needed. And regardless of whether you're doing the Certificate of Performance or the Certificate of Achievement, it does take a minimum of 2 semesters because health and wellness coaching is a prerequisite for applications of health and wellness coaching. Again, there's 1 live class requirement per semester that meets for 3 hours once per week. And then the rest of the courses can be done online asynchronously. So I do want to emphasize that this full program can be done online, whether you're in San Diego or afar. However, there are some elective courses that are offered in our program that are only offered in person. So if you are not local to San Diego or able to travel to San Diego once a week, then there are a handful of courses that you won't be able to take. But still, there are elective options in every category that are available online asynchronously. So the rest of the work can be done fully online without ever having to come to campus or without having to do any additional live classes beyond Exercise Science 294 and 298. Lastly, we're sort of a pseudo cohort model in that we accept around 35 students per semester into the program, never more than that. And occasionally occasionally we will do 1 or 2 more, but we do expect a little bit of attrition such that there's usually about 30 students moving through the program at any given time. But remember that you do not have to complete the program in 2 semesters. So some students will decide to take longer, some students will pause. That's why I say it's a pseudo cohort model. Most of the students you begin with will go through the full program in the 2 semesters, but some will not, and that's okay, whichever bucket you fall into. Couple additional features. We do begin cohorts in both the fall and spring semesters. For Mesa College, our fall semester typically begins in August, and our spring semester usually begins in late January or early February. Those are the two times in which we accept new students to the program. And those would be our cohort is capped by enrollment in Exercise Science 294. So we don't start cohorts in the summer. We take a brand new group of around 35 students in August and in late January or early February. And we keep this cap for program efficacy, meaning that we have these live coaching practice sessions in class and we pair partners up. And then we also have individual student feedback meetings with our instructors. All of this falls into class time. And so we have to keep our numbers low to ensure that we're meeting the hours and the practicum requirements set forth by the NBHWC. I want to emphasize again that both pathways can be done fully online and that the primary difference between the certificate of performance and the certificate of achievement is the number of electives and then whether financial aid and walking at graduation is allowed, not the coaching skill level or the amount of knowledge related to health and wellness coaching specifically. So again, a brief summary of the program structure and timeline. It's designed to be 2 semesters. You may start in the fall or the spring. 294 is sort of our cohort starting class where we accept around 35 students. And that one is offered both in the fall and the spring. So you could start at either time. And you will have one live class requirement each week per semester with a 3-hour live class weekly in the evenings. And the rest of the coursework can be done fully asynchronously online, meaning at your own pace online, though there are some in-person and live online classes available if you are available and choose to take them. A couple program requirements that are important to know. These requirements are here to maintain our approval by the NBHWC and to ensure that classes go smoothly and that we are helping train up qualified and skilled health coaching professionals. So the first one that's important to know is the live attendance and participation requirement in Exercise Science 294 and 298. As a reminder, these are the health and wellness coaching and the practical applications of health and wellness coaching courses. You will take one in your first semester, one in your second semester, and they each require 3 hours of live meeting time per week. You are only allowed to miss 3 classes total throughout the duration of the program. That's 2 live classes in 294 or 6 hours total, and 3 live class, or I'm sorry, 1 live class in 298 and 3 hours total in order to maintain hours compliance with the NBHWC. So if you know in advance for some reason that you're going to be on vacation and miss 3 weeks of a semester, then that is not the right semester for you to enroll in the class. We need you to be live, online, and participating for the full duration of the class session. If you know that you're going to have to be at work for part of that time or driving or not be able to be fully engaged, then we highly recommend that you wait until you're able to adjust your schedule so that you can be fully engaged and participatory in these classes. Again, that's required to meet the hours requirements to sit for the NBHWC exam and to get the most out of your training program. Another requirement is that you are able to engage in partner coaching practice in both Exercise Science 294 and 298. Like I said, there will be lots of opportunities to coach in this program. In 294, the coaching practice sessions are a little bit shorter and more ad lib, and they will happen throughout the flow of the class time in breakout rooms. In 298, they are more structured, prepared, and planned, and they will happen within your own Zoom room or other recording modalities where you will record some of them and submit them for feedback and grading. These sessions are required as part of the coach training program and to ensure you're eligible to sit for the NBHWC exam, and you're required to act as both the coach and the client. You do not have to share any information that you are not comfortable sharing, and you may choose to pick any topic or practice to coach about that you wish. Academic standards. In order to pass classes within the certificate program at Mesa and earn your certificate from Mesa, you need to earn a C or higher in all program courses. And importantly, The NBHWC requires that students get a 70% or higher on their final practical skills assessment, PSA 3. That should say practical skills, not professional skills. The practical skills assessments are those live or those coaching sessions that you can either do live or in many cases recorded that are supervised by your instructor, where you get individualized feedback from your instructor. There's a rubric that you are given that is associated with your coaching sessions. You will grade yourself using this rubric on each of your 3 sessions, and then your instructor will also grade you using this rubric on each of your 3 sessions, and then you'll have sit down one-on-one meetings to discuss this. In your final PSA 3, which is done within the last couple weeks of Exercise Science 298, which is the last few weeks of the training program for most people, you must earn a 70% or higher in order to pass the class, pass the program, and earn your certificate. I know that sounds a little bit scary, but don't worry. Our students are excellent by this time. They've got all the coaching skills and they're excelling in their coaching sessions. And lastly, we request that all students maintain and show respect, civility, and adherence to coaching ethics in all program activities, including practice coaching sessions, interactions with classmates, and interactions with instructors. Those are kind of the general program requirements to ensure that you're aware of before registering for the program. Now I'm going to answer some frequently asked questions that we get a lot about various aspects of the program. So I will just rapid fire through them. Can the program be done online? Yes, you do not have to be live in San Diego to complete the program. All of the requirements in the program can be met online. There are a few classes that are currently only offered in person, I think 2 elective classes, but there are other ways to meet those requirements with online elective classes. Which pathway should I pick? This is a tough question and often should be answered on an individual basis. I recommend that anyone with a background, training, education, or experience in health and wellness lean toward the certificate of performance. And if you are looking for financial aid eligibility, the ability to walk at graduation, or if this is your first foray into the health and wellness or educational space, then you may lean towards the certificate of achievement. I'm happy to discuss via email, phone, in person, or however the best option for you. Can the program be done in 1 semester? No, it cannot. Exercise Science 294 is a prerequisite for Exercise Science 298. You need the coaching foundation, skills, techniques, behavior change theories, structure before you're able to apply it in Exercise Science 298. Typically, the program is done in 2 semesters, but can it be done in longer? Sure, no problem. 3 semesters, 4, 5, 6, you pick whatever best fits your lifestyle. I do often recommend doing it in 2 to 4 semesters or 1 to 2 school years just to make sure you kind of don't fall off track, but it is not a requirement. Is there financial aid available? Yes, there is. You are eligible to apply for financial aid through FAFSA, Federal Financial Aid application, to see if you qualify for loans or grants. And that is only eligible for the Certificate of Achievement, the larger unit one. Same with things like the GI Bill and EDD benefits. Those are applicable only to the Certificate of Achievement. I also want to note here that with current California Community College prices for in-state California residents, the full cost of the Certificate of Achievement is under $900, and the full cost of the Certificate of Performance is under $500. That number is quite a bit higher for out-of-state residents, in the couple $1,000 range for each program. I want to say it's in the $3,000 range for the Certificate of Performance and in the $5,000 range for the Certificate of Achievement if you are not a California resident. Again, if you are a California resident, under $900 for the entire Certificate of Achievement, under $500 for the entire Certificate of Performance, and that would be paid across 2 semesters. Academic considerations. How many absences are allowed? So these are for the live 3-hour, once a week courses that are offered in the evening. 2 absences are allowed for Exercise Science 294, Health and Wellness Coaching. 1 absence is allowed for Exercise Science 298, Applications of Health and Wellness Coaching. And that is because there are fewer live classes for that course because much of the class time is taken up by coaching and feedback sessions. Can I count previous coursework toward my certificate? This answer is a bit nuanced. Students may not count any previous coursework toward the core coaching courses. That would be the health and wellness coaching, the applications of health and wellness coaching, and the lifestyle medicine. All of those must be done with us. Our program is the approved program by the NBHWC, so we can't pull in other courses to substitute for those courses that have been approved. If you are completing the Certificate of Achievement, you may request substitution for elective courses. So let's say you've already taken an entrepreneurship course. You may request substitution for that. Let's say you've already taken an interpersonal communication course. You may request substitution for that. However, these are not necessarily granted. They may be if the courses are similar enough. If that is something that you would like to request, I recommend that you reach out to me directly to determine if your course might be approved. If you are completing the Certificate of Performance, the 9 to 10 unit pathway, no courses may be applied from previous coursework. All courses must be done here at Mesa within the San Diego Community College District. What are the program textbooks? Currently, we use the American Council on Exercises textbook, the Professional's Guide to Health Wellness Coaching. We use that for our coaching classes and our lifestyle medicine class. And we also use the Coaching Psychology Manual by Margaret Moore for our health and wellness coaching classes. We are looking at adopting new textbooks, but those are the current textbooks in use as of 2025. And we do have virtual text options available for students if purchasing the physical copy or the online copies are out of the budget for you right now. Lastly, students ask often, are there post-program resources and support for us in terms of studying for our exam, finding jobs, getting coaching sessions done towards our NBHWC log, etc.? My answer is yes. We have developed a tremendous amount of post-program resources for students based on student need. We listen to students, what they share, what they say they need, and we try our best to develop or find resources for our students. Currently, a couple of the resources we offer are, we partner with a wonderful NBHWC exam prep training program offered by health coach educator Sonia Eklund as a free resource for our students. So Mesa College is generously paying for our partnership with this resource, and we offer this to graduates of our program for free. So you have a structured exam study program based on the NBHWC exam content outline with practice quizzes and a 150 question practice test that provides answers and rationale behind why answers are correct and incorrect, and office hours with the program developer. So it's an awesome resource for students who are preparing for the exam. Additionally, our very own Professor Jenny Davenport Furness created a program called Connecting Coaches to Communities, which is a nonprofit program that she's generated where she connects graduates of our health coaching program with folks who are often working in the nonprofit or educational sectors who are interested in coaching, but may not otherwise be able to afford or access it. And so this is sort of like a liaison program where Jenny connects these graduates with folks who are interested in coaching as a way for students to earn their 50 post-program coaching sessions that are required to sit for the NBHWC board exam. So students need a couple things to sit for the board exam. They need to have gone through an approved training program such as ours. They need to have a minimum of an associate's degree or 4,000 hours of work experience in any field. Either of those can be in any field. And they need to accrue 50 coaching sessions, 50 health and wellness coaching sessions that are a minimum of 20 minutes in duration that occur after the individual has passed PSA 3, which is essentially at the end of your coaching program. This is a big challenge for many students to find these coaching clients. So Professor Jenny's program is a great resource to help connect our graduates with folks who would love to be coached. Additionally, anytime we hear of job opportunities, postings, etc., we share that out with our graduate network, and we're always looking for additional ways to support our students and graduates. So if you could think of anything else, don't hesitate to let me know. That is really it. Kind of a summary of our health and wellness coaching program, our two program pathways, the major structure of our program, and answers to frequently asked questions. If you're ready to take next steps, please scan this QR code. It will take you to our program website. It will give you the interest form to request more information. That will go directly to me so I can reach out to you with next steps to apply. We hope to see you soon. Take care.